Tariff, tariff, tariff.
Collapse, collapse, collapse.
Collapse, collapse, collapse. Well, we're back to doing tariff videos again, because that's just what we do on this channel.
Yeah, I think it's going to be every other month or every 2 months for a while.
It's going to be like a cycle where it's just
we're just going to cycle in, yeah.
So this week, it's not what this video is going to be about, but there's been a lot more tariff news again, because we're up in Canada. We're attached at the hip to our American friends, where their government is secretly trying to kill us right now. Yeah. But all jokes aside, there's been some big changes, so we wanted to kind of talk about a few of those things. We have a great customer, Mike. He sends us articles all the time, and this one was from the New York Times talking about the board game business again, because I think the board game business is sort of like the vanguard of the hobby industry in this tariff war.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They are the most exposed.
Yeah.
They're the most exposed, right? So
and they're also like in every store. You know, they're the
they're
the most mainstream facing of the products that that we sell, or that any store sells, I guess, that has games or knickknacks or.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, like a lot of shops just jam a Catan in the window, and to try to get some normies, we call them, to walk into the shop or whatever and discover this wonderful hobby. So I just wanted to read a couple of things from the article, and then we'll discuss and talk about some of the other stuff that's going on. But essentially, obviously the trade war uncertainty is continuing, and this article focuses on a particular couple of folks that own our board game, like make board games. And I'll read a couple of things that I found interesting here. Obviously, the trade volatility has created existential threat for independent board game publishers in the United States, virtually all of which employ fewer than 10 workers. So I find this to be particularly fascinating, because in sort of modern economic times, you almost couldn't ask for a better arrangement. Like, if I was to tell you as a society, you guys get to be the creative people, you get to have all the fun jobs, make things, and then this other country is going to basically do all the crappy stuff for you. Yeah. They're going to make it, they're going to grind away and finish that thing for you exactly how you wanted it, and then you're going to get it after.
Yep.
Doesn't that sound pretty good, right? Like,
yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, you know.
We get all the good jobs, and then they get all the like lesser good jobs or whatever. You don't, and this is the kind of to that point. You don't actually. This is a quote. You don't actually have to have a big operation to design new games, which is what keeps things vibrant. This is from this gentleman, Mr. Ho, who owns 90 games. The tariffs are a step back in allowing people to do that, and I think that really sucks. And I don't want to see the growth of the hobby stunted by this. So he's kind of just talking about, like, the neat thing is, like, because of the way this like supply chain has worked for so many years, you have like this extremely specialized industrial manufacturing bases in China that can make anything. Because what they'll talk about later in the article, we're talking about, like, every board game has an completely, in a lot of ways, unique profile. Different box size, different components of shapes and sizes and stuff like that. And the fact that like one person who lives in the Western world can be like, I want to make a board game. And if they can raise enough money and come up with a cool enough idea, there's a place that can get made, right? Yeah. At least two prominent publishers, Greater Than Games and Simon, which Jay has talked about earlier.
Are they still around?
They're in the news still. Have curtailed production and cut staff since April. Several others are struggling to bring in orders in the time for an all-important holiday season. And just an example here, there was a convention in Columbus, Ohio in June, and 20% less publishers showed up because they don't have anything to show off or sell. Because essentially what, like, you've had like this like mass freeze of production. So where people are like, well, why am I going to develop a new game right now if we don't know if we can even bring it to market? So that's kind of crazy.
Well, and things change so much. Like, there's a rule today that could be gone tomorrow. That could be back by the end of the week. Like, so they just are like, I guess we'll just...
It's a great foundation to build a business.
So they're probably looking... Some of them that are established might be looking at their evergreen titles and being like, I guess we'll just try and sell more of those. Like, I don't know.
Eric Price, the president of Jap Anime Games, which is based in Portland, Oregon, stopped manufacturing new board games about 4 months ago. It wasn't an easy call. The company's core business is publishing board and card games focused on Japanese anime. But he says he was left with little choice as tariffs on China, the source of most of his materials, whipsawed from 34 to 125%, then to 145, then before scaled back to 30. And he said basically even at the lower rate, we're talking like 30%, a $50 board game becomes like about $80, right? So, anyways, this is one of the interesting things. To make a profit, he's invested more in inexpensive products with higher margins. For example, just small card games. You can kind of control the costs a little bit better.
Yeah. So
that's something you might see more of. The sad part, though, is like really you're seeing essentially like a stemming of creativity, right? So the types of
inferior games.
People are just going to make whatever they can based on the limitations now, as opposed to making what they want to make, right? So that's kind of where.
But I thought 3D printers were gonna.
They're gonna 3D print the game.
Is that Trench Crusade?
That's the game I haven't heard in a dog's age or whatever.
So we got to put the timestamp.
Oh yeah. People are like Trench Crusade. So you have businesses basically saying they're completely changing their focus, and talking about how a $10 game could become $15, which, you know, it's a 50% increase, but might still somehow be more palatable for people because of, you know, the overall price is ludicrous. And then they go on to talk about like some more of the premium board game companies that sell like the $200 boxed game, right? With like the minis and heavy components in it and stuff like that. Those are the ones that are basically existential right now, where like, you know, you just can't make that.
I mean, the funny thing is, if you have a collection that includes games like Gloomhaven and stuff, that game's gonna go up in price. Like, but like I could see that game selling on eBay for $500-$600 soon, because they're just not gonna be able to print it.
Yeah, and that's like the reality of where we're getting here is essentially the quote here: "I can't say with any level of confidence what we feel like we can trust what's coming next." Adding that many board and card game publishers feel they are among the first victims of the trade war. In May and June, Cephalofair, laid off one worker and reduced the hours of two workers. This is like a 6-person business, right? So,
and he took a 50% pay cut.
And took a 50% pay cut. Unlike the Cool Money guys, still making their 200+K salaries right, all the way to the end, baby. All the way to the end.
They just took that backer money and said, "See you later."
Ride or die, baby.
Ride or die.
Ride or die.
Sorry.
Oh man.
God bless them. One of my favorite. A favorite, not for the right reasons. I mean, I feel bad for the person for sure. Like, it's really unfortunate. But there was a comment that was like, "Well, what happens if my Kickstarter they can't fill it?" And everyone's like, "Bro, I'm sorry. There is nothing. You get nothing."
Yeah, it's like they didn't understand what they were ordering. They're like, "I'm just pre-ordering from a pre-order system." It's like,
I mean,
and I get it because
it's mostly operated. And some
way.
of these companies like have delivered successfully many times. So it just seemed like that. But this is probably for a whole pile of people. This is going to be the first like time that they're like this Kickstarter that they're going to lose the thing they backed. They're not going to get it probably, or it'll be ready to go, but the shipping will be so astronomical that they're just not. They're going to be like,
or the final price, like
that's what I mean.
They'll be like, this is how much it costs, and it's like, well, I didn't want it for that much. I wanted it for this much.
I mean, if someone should be worried a little bit, it should be the people over at Kickstarter, guys. I think you're also going to see a massive reduction in projects that are going to even be launched and platformed. People are going to be like, I have this idea, but I just don't see how where it's going to get made. Like it. I mean, in theory, as more time passes by, but we're talking probably years, there should be some ways to get certain things done, in various countries and places, but I don't know.
Well, this article talks about that a bit. Mr. Real and Mr. Johnson said that they had spent months vetting in domestic manufacturers. So this goes against the argument. There's so many people in the comments will go like, just make it in America, just make it, and that's always the argument, right? And they say at every turn they have been offered lower quality product that would be several times more expensive to produce, right? So that's the issue, right? It's For example, 135 glimmering orange gems included in each copy of Fire Tower are actually pieces of acrylic plastic, obviously, molded in a production process that is second nature for Chinese factories. American manufacturers don't have access to materials that would allow them to make these components at scale, Mr. Ruel says. So it's kind of going to the fact, it's like, I know there's a lot of like, I don't want to say like racism, but like it's like people think, they think of China, they think of like inferior made things. But they're forgetting how sophisticated the operations are. Like, because they're choosing to make low quality things when they're making low quality things because of margins.
Haven't they been making your iPhone for like the last 10
And they
years?
make it to the specs of the person that are giving them. They're like, we want a cheap thing so we can make a huge margin on it, right?
Yeah, right.
So, it just goes to show, like, the fact that American factories, and I'm not saying that Canadian factories could do this either.
Yeah, sure.
Can't just snap their fingers and make these things. Goes to show, like, there's obviously a ton of skill and investment that's happened over many years.
I do feel like, again, maybe from the comments and feelings and emotions people get about it is like, maybe there is a reality where you could figure it out and make it here.
Effects.
Well, like I said a little bit earlier, is like it might take quite a few years. Like this is not going to be like, in 6 months from now. Like you might have to deal with, like, you're going to see a whole swath of these little companies just die or pivot to other things that we talked about earlier. It might take like 2, 3, 5, 10 years. Like who knows? Like it's not going to be, and even if a few years from now some of these policies are reversed, it may not turn back on like that as quickly, because there's like erosion of trust, there's erosion of other places will move on to other things, so I don't know. We're probably in for an era of your board games are going to go up in price, there's going to be less of them, and the era of the cheap Kickstarter is probably done for now. Like there's ramifications that are going to last, I guess, is all I'm saying. Yeah, and now let's pivot that into the second part of the of course no one's watching at this point, but like the second part of the new tariff thing, which is like the mostly affects Canadian Americans, which is the de minimis requirement has changed, has been revoked essentially. So what this was essentially was. Most countries that share borders have something like this in place, where it allows like tourists or people visiting or whatever to basically like, I'm gonna go spend the weekend in New York, a small amount of money,
and then I come back and I bought some T-shirts and mugs or whatever that say I love New York or whatever, and I don't have to pay tax twice, basically, or whatever. And my country's like, you had a good time, you came back, or whatever, cool. And it goes both ways, right? So like people that come visit here, they spend money here, and it's good for both countries, right? Now, obviously, like in the era of packages and like shipping, this kind of got a little wonky, obviously. So like people have made entire businesses selling, in Canada to the U.S. Knickknacks and little things, or like businesses like us that maybe like we don't really ship that much to the US, but I do know other hobby shops that sell a lot to the US, hobby supplies and things like that. And as long as they're under that threshold, there's no duty, there's no there's no taxes, or so they pay taxes, but there's no duties or anything, tariffs or anything applied to it, right? Yeah. So that was revoked this week, so it's gone.
Yeah, and I think it was $800. I think so.
Anything under $800,
800 or less.
So it's going to affect 4 million packages a day. Only 4 million.
Only 4 million.
4 million packages a day.
There's a lot of small businesses or people. By small business, we mean like a person that makes a thing, like a little niche thing, that is potentially hooped, just to like, or like, I mean, they'll still sell some, but the people may just not be willing to pay the extra now, because maybe the appeal was, you sell a thing I need, and actually, because if you're American, your money goes farther here, so you're actually getting a deal. But they may not do it because they're like, well, it was $30 with like a $10 shipping before, and now it's 30 plus 10 plus the total all in might be $80 or $90 or something, like up literally like crazy like that. And now you're like, well, I don't need that thing that badly. No,
exactly. Or I can't afford it,
or I just whatever. So that's gonna be a big problem for sure it's going to hurt both sides, but it's going to hurt us disproportionately for sure.
So because of that change, a lot of countries have actually seized their immediate shipping to the United States.
Yeah, and these are just like little backwater countries, right?
Like France,
Germany, Japan, South Korea, Italy,
South Korea,
UK.
Hope you don't need components.
Yeah. Hope you don't need a piece for your oven.
Wow, yeah.
Are you a repairman that needs a piece for a fridge?
So it's kind of an interesting time right now. It just feels, once again, like you kind of have to, as a business owner, just kind of go into you're like, oh, okay. I mean, I can't. You can almost trick yourself on a daily basis, being like, nothing really is happening, and then all of a sudden, all at once, like some things change,
happens,
right? And
abruptly.
it kind of goes that way. Mm-hmm. And we just, I don't know. You just have to like wake up and check the news and react to it as best you can.
Yeah. I think with us, it's usually the feeling happens twofold. It's like an abrupt slowdown of some sort of business that you like normally were like, oh, that's odd, and abrupt higher fees on. So we've already seen it a lot this summer or the spring and summer with the card games. There's just, you're like, oh, the box, a booster box was $160 and now it's $205, or just like 1 week to the other. You still have some of the old stock.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but this new stock I got a price like a lot more. And you're like, are people gonna still buy this? Like it just like slams you.
And so far, people are like, two things are happening. So far, people are absorbing the tariffs.
They are
mostly well. Mm-hmm. With cards. We've seen it the most.
Yeah,
like the card games have gotten
now
bananas expensive.
That could be tied in with the content of the sets has been very strong. But what happens when it's not?
Yeah,
like Final Fantasy Magic will sell well, tariff price or not.
Yeah.
And so will Destin Rivals Pokemon or whatever.
Yeah.
But what happens when it's not? When it's
like an okay set or whatever.
It's
I mean,
and it's expensive per pack.
Yeah.
Now we're.
Well, we've seen what happens. It's not good. 1,000 LGSs close or whatever.
Yeah. Yes. They will.
It happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
People are gonna be like, this channel's not fun anymore.
It's not fun. I mean, we should make fun videos.
This is not fun. This is not fun. Yeah.
I gotta make more forts out of boxes and put the sunglasses.
I need to have more GW calls or whatever.
True.
I need to be James Workshop more
often.
Sorry, Rob at James Workshop. Robbie G. The 13th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're just like trying to do the best we can on a daily basis and reevaluate and you're just So like I said, the customers are absorbing it somewhat so far. Mm-hmm. Companies are absorbing it so far. Some we get the Games Workshop eating tariff prices to some degree.
They are. Yeah. Good thing.
How long will they do that for?
Good thing their profits are so good.
Yeah, but I saw a couple of posts this week about like Conquest, Parabellum raising their prices.
Actually, funny enough, I know in my CMON video I said, I made the claim that none of this can be made in the U.S. Obviously, people corrected me and said, "Oh, War Games and Landing." That's fair enough. I do believe they posted that they also reluctantly have to raise some prices, so they're also not immune because they are getting some raw materials and things elsewhere.
Well, there's videos circulating all over the place of these like really confident American businesses that came out really early, being like, "This is gonna be great."
Yeah.
And this is gonna be awesome. And the fact that we make everything here in America, right. Our price is not going to change at all.
Exactly.
And then a month later, when they had to like fix a machine or order a part or do anything to do with their business, they realized that like they're not inflation proof.
No.
And the costs are like we have a global economy, right?
Yeah.
Like it or not, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way things are. Mm-hmm. So all those people are kind of like eating their words a little bit, which I don't take any pleasure in that. It's the grim reality of nobody is safe.
It's
right?
No one's safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's crappy for everyone. It really is. Yeah.
We've been mostly lucky in the fact that like our business is mostly Canadian to Canadian business.
Yeah. Yeah. Our web store is Canadian locked. So all our American businesses like kind of by mail or whatever you want, or by phone or so to speak, and we appreciate it tremendously, but it wasn't. It wasn't the leg that that is keeping the whole thing up, so to speak, right? But But you do worry, you know, as things, because it's going to trickle, obviously. Like, there's layoffs here. You look at, you know, Canadian various sectors.
Unemployment's way up.
Have shed thousands of jobs already, of course, in various sectors. So that you would be ignorant to assume that you won't feel that at some point. You know?
I was talking about that. It's like the way it gets retail in the end usually is that way, right? Is your customers having less money to spend?
It's like a macroeconomic delay. It just kind of like eventually, the amount that the market has available to spend comes down, and now I think we'll still be a bit of it'll be a little bit analogous to COVID, where people will just like allocate their funds differently. They'll spend it more on. They'll probably continue to still spend it on some war games and cards and board games, because the bang for the buck is better there than the eating out and event related things. But I could see the boom of the last 2 years, post COVID here, recovery, etc., flattening a bit. I think is my prediction here. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know. So. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey.
Doomsday video.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys liked that somber tariff video. Unfortunately, you know, it's something we don't want to avoid talking about, because I think it's important. And even though it's not always like super relevant to exactly our shop, I think there's a lot of businesses, especially people we've come in contact that are running businesses that are struggling, and we just want to highlight that that's happening, and we feel for them, and it sucks, and we hope that it changes and they don't have to go through that, because nobody wants to see these people lose their jobs or livelihood, or in just like a human sense, like cool things should be allowed to exist, you know? And board games, you know, as much as it like any other business, it is a bit cynical. And there's like a lot of that sort of like, oh, we're making a new edition of this and it's the same thing and we're going to sell it to you. There's also the opposite end of that, which is like, it's one of those industries where like people bring like their cool idea to life almost on their own in a weird way, right? Like how many industries can you do that in still?
Oh man,
right?
Yeah,
like
There's a bit of innovation we're gonna just lose or pause for the time being. Yeah.
Well, let us know what you guys think. Are tariffs affecting you? You know, how is it affecting you? If it is or not, is it affecting the shop you go to? Have you seen that increase in price or anything like that, or unavailability of things hit you guys yet? Let us know in the comments, and we appreciate you guys. Check out our Patreon if you want to ask more specific questions. That's where we engage with people a bit more, and you can ask us, Chris and Jay, make a video on this topic or whatever, which is we often end up doing.
Look, we cover these topics, and a lot of this is just like our, it's a very kind of raw, off the cuff, just from our brains, with being supported with a bit of. A significant amount of like just empirical like life experiences here at the store. They're not just like little anecdotes or whatever. But of course, like go look things up. Go check out things.
Absolutely,
like don't just like. A lot of this is just like, well, I think this, maybe that.
We're not journalists. We're pundits.
We're just pundits.
We're just making comments.
So anyway. So don't lose your mind. You
should say that at the beginning of the video because no one's actually here.
Yeah, true. That's fine. That's okay.
See you guys next time.
Thanks. Bye.